Have you ever, like, sat next to someone on a flight and felt like they knew exactly what you were thinking? Not in a fun, magic trick way, but in a way that feels like they're casually reading your source code while you sip your ginger ale.
Yeah, it's terrifying. I mean, we really like our personal boundaries to feel solid,
Yeah.
but a true master manipulator, they don't try to violently hack your defenses.
Right. They just wait for you to unlock the door.
Exactly. They wait for you to invite them in.
And that actually brings us perfectly to today's deep dive. We've compiled your reading notes and chapters from the spy thriller Around the World for My Son. Our mission today is to unpack this brilliantly chilling character, Saira Khalid.
She is just a fascinating master of human risk assessment.
Yeah, and we're exploring how she uses that to corner Alexandre Varenne. He's the creator of the Lumiere Data Network, which is, essentially the holy grail of untraceable digital infrastructure.
Right.
And she forces him into this impossible moral choice regarding his kidnapped son, Max.
Well, to really understand how she corners a genius like Alexandre, you first have to look at her camouflage. I mean, Sarah works for this massive, shadowy international intelligence consortium.
She doesn't approach him with demands.
No, not at all. Because she was raised in Saudi Arabia and educated all over the globe, she just slips between cultures so effortlessly. She simply sits next to him on a flight to Doha, posing as a corporate consultant advising on data exposure.
So she's basically acting like a highly paid corporate therapist.
Yes, that is exactly it.
I love that detail because she doesn't carry a weapon. Her whole strategy revolves around making these brilliant, profoundly isolated engineers feel completely understood.
Precisely. Because her camouflage is built entirely on providing a sense of understanding, her method of extracting what she wants isn't digital hacking, it's totally psychological.
Wait, so she knows he'll just talk?
She knows that engineers who spend their lives building invisible structures will eventually talk if they feel admired and truly seen.
The sources mention she circles him with these abstract questions about invisibility and power, but she doesn't even watch his face. She maps his silences. How do you, map a silence?
Well, she knows that faces can easily lie. Instead, she listens to his cadence. She understands that when a deeply isolated man stops talking to search for a word.
That pause is where his unacknowledged grief lives.
Exactly. She's essentially finding the back door in his emotional code.
See, I do have to push back on her being completely robotic, though. We know from the source material that Saira actually allowed genuine sympathy for Alexandra's pain to enter the equation. Doesn't that suggest a rare slip in her armor?
I'd actually argue the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah, the sympathy was real, but that makes her tactics so much worse. She weaponizes her own genuine emotional response.
Oh, because an authentic reaction is the only thing a paranoid tech genius can't detect as a lie.
You nailed it.
Right, and because she's established that false safety net, Alexandra's guard is completely down when she finally springs the trap. And she doesn't do it with a threat. She does it with a surveillance photograph of his kidnapped son in Kazakhstan.
Right, because the legal system has given Alexandra nothing but red tape and polite dismissals. Sarah offers to extract Max. But she carefully frames it as a retrieval.
A retrieval, entirely avoiding the word kidnapping.
Yes, exactly.
But it's a retrieval with a staggering price tag. Alexandra has to permanently embed himself and that entirely untraceable Lumiere network with her consortium. He basically has to become their ghost in the machine.
Right.
But here's my question. By pointing out that the legal system has completely failed him, doesn't Saira's horrific blackmail technically make her the most honest person in the room? Like, she doesn't hide behind legal technicalities.
I wouldn't call it honesty. I mean, I'd call it weaponized reality. She tells him outright that legal systems thrive on denial, whereas she does not.
So she's stepping in right where society's safety nets have completely broken down.
Exactly. She's intentionally removing all his other options until her ransom feels like a lifeline.
Which perfectly sums up Saira's terrifying effectiveness. She doesn't use force. She uses consent, disguised as inevitability. She corners you so perfectly that you walk into the trap entirely of your own free will.
Because she makes you believe it's the absolute only path forward.
Leaving you to ponder this, if Saira's tactic of trading convenience and safety for total unmitigated access works perfectly on a brilliant engineer, how often do we make that exact same trade every single time we casually click accept terms and conditions on a new piece of software?
Wow, yeah. That is a terrifying thought.
Right. Keep your guard about there, and thanks for exploring this deep dive with us.